Hi everyone from Grenada. We wanted to do an update for you, letting you know how my first term on the island has been and Anthony's first year of medical school has been. So this was his second
This
term.
is term two, and term two had the stigma as far as being a difficult term because of the content in which you're covering. You have physiology, immunology, genetics, and neuro. How was the term for you as far as me being busy and?
Anthony was able to make a lot of time for me. Every week we would try to have a date night. It did get a little more difficult when he would have like quizzes or tests coming up. He would need to be studying more. Those are times that I made it a point to spend time with him on campus while he was studying. Usually my days were busy. I would do some kind of activity, and we would always have the evenings together, I would say.
Yeah.
We'd always eat dinner together.
Like last term, I was just here by myself, so I could study all day as much as I wanted, because it was just me. I just had to worry about myself. But this term, I wanted to limit the amount of time I studied because I wanted to be able to be at home and be with you. So, but the way I studied changed this term was because the classes were different. Last term had a lot of memorization, so I did a lot of like Anki and note cards, and then biochem had, you just draw the pathways. But this term was very conceptual, so physiology didn't have a lot of memorization with it. You just had to understand a concept and be able to relate that concept into questions. Yeah, so how did I look stressed out at all during medical school, or?
Anthony doesn't show stress very much. He's always very happy and upbeat. He doesn't get grumpy, or he's not very moody, so he's always kind of consistent. So it was hard for me to tell when he would get stressed. The best tool for me as a wife to understand what he was going through was making friends with female students that were the same term as him, because they would be talking about things that I knew he had coming up, but they would be expressing it more in a stressful way, like just letting out their stress and frustration. So it gave me insight into what he was really going through.
As hard as it is, as hard as medical school is, and it's freaking hard, it's so much fun. It's such a blessing to be able to learn this stuff and to do it here, and to to be around other people that are helping you. And
I would just like to input, because you kind of touched on it, what a blessing it is to go to school here. Just an encouragement for any students or significant others that kind of are having a negative feeling towards coming to a Caribbean school. I don't think you understand right now how lucky you are. You can take this experience and make it into the best time of your life, where you really are growing and experiencing a different culture. And I feel lucky so many times to know that this isn't an experience that everyone gets to have. And if you would have asked me that a few months ago, I was very nervous about coming here, but quickly my mindset changed. And I think it's a lot of the perspective that you go into it with. If you want to have a bad time, you're going to have a bad time. Yeah. But if you want to look and see the positives, there's a lot of positives, and it's something that people don't get to do.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that too, because I hear a lot of complaints sometimes about the facilities. Like school, when you look at it from the outside, is beautiful, but there are some places that are older. Some of the like the facilities, and because it's a growing campus. So, sometimes air conditioning will, stop working, or the electricity will run out, or like
the internet's kind
of
the
internet starts acting up, and so you start to, because you're so stressed out with medical school, you start to just allow those things to upset you. But in reality, the school is awesome. Like you have the opportunity to learn what you need to learn to be a doctor. If you don't let the outside circumstances or those things affect you, it makes everything a lot easier, and you realize the blessing that the school is. I mean, it's beautiful. They have food on campus. They have housing on campus. They have tutors on campus. They have doctor tutors. You're allowed to you work with patients, like mock patients that you're able to talk to and learn to talk to, and and the facilities, the teachers, some of the teachers are awesome. just what they teach, how they teach is awesome. And then
The barrel option, I think people ask us quite a bit about that. We didn't do the barrel option, and I don't think it's necessary if it's just husband and wife. Personally, I think you can fit what you need in your bags, and anything else you can get here from either from stores or from students selling them. If you have a child, you may want to invest in bringing like toys and diapers and clothes for them to grow into. Things that I find that I would need to bring. I'm fair-skinned. So if you're a fair-skinned woman that wears makeup, I would bring enough face makeup to try to last. Because they do, I've seen that some places that sell Maybelline and L'Oreal, but I find that the colors are a little darker. So if you're more like medium to dark skin tones, you'll do fine. You wouldn't even need to bring that. Everything else I could have just bought here, to be honest.
Well, the things that I'm glad that we brought was...
Well, I'll tell you what I'm glad I brought.
Me?
For kitchen.
Oh.
So our apartment came with a lot of, basically almost everything we need. So the things that I brought are specialty items that I'm glad I brought. So a French press, which I could replace here if I need to, but they're a little pricey. George Foreman grill, which is the same thing. I could replace here, but it's a little pricey. Other than that...
The bullet. I'm glad we brought
our NutriBullet,
NutriBullet,
and then a fan.
Yes.
We got a smaller size Vornado fan. We would have had to pay like that same amount for a really cheap, dinky standing fan.
Yeah.
Fans are kind of pricey and they're not the greatest quality. So if you can bring yourself a nice fan.
That's only if you're living off campus.
If you're on campus.
If you're on campus, don't worry about a fan because you can run your air condition all day, every day, and it's going to be freezing in your dorm. So
that's a question that you feel like you get asked a lot or we get asked a lot?
For me, I think coming into medical school, I had a lot of questions, and especially coming into a medical school in the Caribbean or in Caribbean school, I had a lot of questions. I didn't know what to expect, how to study, what to study. For example, the number one thing to do as a medical student is to learn how you learn. It saves so much time if you know yourself and how you learn. It saves so much time. That's a big reason why it saved so much time for me this term, is because I had last term to learn how I learn. So you get better at being a student. You don't get worse. You get better as being a student. So don't let your grades from term one or your first test or anything like that define you as a student, because you get better at what you do. It's just like anything else. The last thing that I wanted to say was for the people who are on the island or who are going to be on the island, one of the fear for me coming here last term was that I didn't know anybody. But if you've seen this video, you're going to see us on campus. So if you need anything, if you need directions or if you need advice, or I know a ton of smarter people than me, and they, I could have them help you with what they did and how they studied, and to get advice. If whatever you need, if you need somebody to pick up something for you, or because we have a scooter, so if you need somebody to pick up something because you're not going to be able to get to it on the bus, or you're not going to have time. My wife has time, though, could help you out. And
I just want to say again, don't be afraid to say hi to us. I know, especially when you first get here, just seeing a familiar face, someone how just comforting that can be. It's a great opportunity for me. I just want to say I am not working, so I have all the time in the world, especially for the girls. If you ever need anything, ask me. I'm really happy to help, and you won't just only see us around on campus. We're part of the CSA. Yeah. So on Sundays we're at church. If you want to try to find us, you can find us, and we're available just to be there for you guys.
Yeah, last plug-in before the end of the video. CSA is the church on campus. We'll be there on Sundays, Bible studies on Saturdays, prayers on Wednesdays. There's a lot that the CSA does on campus. Church on Sundays is awesome.
And we're not the only friends you'll make there. There's probably other better friends there than us.
There's a lot better people
but
there
I just
us.
encourage you, it helps so much just to make good friends right away, because there will be hard times. hard things maybe happen back at home or school gets difficult, and just to already have that foundation of friends, I just encourage you. That's what helped me so much as a wife, and I think that's what helped him a lot as a student. I think to end this message, I say, come to Grenada. You already have friends here.
Yes. She's a better friend than I am.